So today we're going to do another video on 5 biggest needs for each team in the NFC South. So we're going to start with the New Orleans Saints. Obviously secondary could be a concern now, minus corner. You have a good corner, a couple good corners. Safety, the Williams kid, if he leaves, walks in free agency. That could be a concern. Linebacking core is a concern at number 3. Number 2 is going to be your defensive line, helping them out. Number 1 is going to be quarterback, probably. You have some players on offensive. The offensive line's in good shape. That's why they drafted Calvin Throckmorton. They've got Ryan Ramczyk. They've got young talent in the middle of that offensive line. Cesar Ruiz, those kind of guys. I think they're going to be okay there. Tight end Adam Trotman, he's really good. He's just upcoming star, young guy. Michael Thomas coming back. Other players on that wide receiving core. Quarterback is priority. Don't know if they'll be able to trade for one or if they'll get one in the draft. But they need to have a quarterback. If they go forward with Taysom Hill, it's going to be a long season for Saints fans. So secondary, defensive line, linebackers, quarterback are my needs specifically. You can add an offensive lineman later if you like. There's a lot of talent in this draft for that, and receivers. If you want to add a Trayvon Burks or one of those guys, the kid from Baylor who ran a 4.2 40, and looks like he has some route running skills as well. And it was supposed to be a high draft pick in this draft. One of the top receivers already. Just bumped himself up and did himself a favor with that 4.2 speed. So those are my needs for the Saints. Then we have the Atlanta Falcons coming up next. Their needs to change some. Defensive help. You've got to get secondary. You got one great corner. Don't have much else behind him in the secondary. Safeties, corner, linebackers, defensive line, offensive line. I mean, this team just about needs it all. This team really needs it all. And now, with the Calvin Ridley suspension, being suspended for at least this year, and only having Kyle Pitts, they don't have much else. Matt Ryan's getting older. He's not what he once was. He's not able to carry the load anymore. Their offensive line is not very good at all. And their defense as a whole was pretty horrible, minus the one corner. So they need a lot of help. But you can fix some of those holes. You're not going to fix them all this year, I don't believe. But now you've got another hole to fill with Calvin Ridley being gone. So that's the Atlanta Falcons. Then we go to the Carolina Panthers. So the Carolina Panthers are talking about trading their star running back, Christian McCaffrey, which they could get some good picks for him. His health is a concern still, but I think a team would be willing to give up a first and a second possibly, or a second and a third for this guy. Secondary, depending on the health of their star corner, rookie corner from last year, J.C. Horn. Can he come back healthy and produce like Pat Surtain was? Pat Surtain, that's why I wanted him last year as a corner, and I figured he's the best corner, and he proved he was the best corner. He was healthy all year, and he balled out. There was questions with Horn, but his talent, people saw more upside. We'll find out this year if he can come back healthy. I think he can still be a great corner. You're also going to lose the former Patriot corner. So they need secondary help. They need offensive line help bad. Now, possibly with Sam Darnold moving on, they need a quarterback. Receiving core isn't great. They need a lot of help on this team, too. Defensive line's pretty good. Linebackers aren't too bad. Secondary depends on health, because their safeties are pretty good as well. So my top concerns would be offensive line, number 1. Number 2 would be quarterback, receivers, linebackers, so on and so forth. They could use a lot of help too, and the quarterback situation doesn't help. So that's Carolina Panthers. Next one is, of course, going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who are tight against the salary cap. So, don't know if Tom Brady's going to come back out of retirement or not. Don't know if he'll even want to come back to Tampa. They got Chris Godwin. They got a bunch of free agents. Jason Pierre-Paul. A lot of free agents. Don't have a lot of cap space. Don't have a ton of draft picks. So I don't know how they'll work the cap space magic to try to get some more cap space. But they got a lot of players, and now they got quarterback. Your defensive line could use some definite help. It's getting older. Your linebacking core isn't too bad. Your secondary is kind of young, but Carlton Davis, one of your better corners, is a free agent. So your safeties aren't bad, but offensive line, you got free agents. So you're going to have to deal with that. You're going to have to deal with receiving core, minus Mike Evans, Scotty Miller. Those are the only 2 coming back. The draft, you have some picks, but not a ton. And quarterback's a big need. What are they going to do with Kyle Trask? Are they really going to entrust their season to Blaine Gabbert? I don't see that happening. You never know. But their top concerns now are offensive line. You got to hope that if Jensen leaves and Kappa leaves, 2 of your better players on that line, you got to worry about running back. You got to worry about receiver. Defensive line, you could lose a lot of guys there. Getting older, linebackers, secondary. You need help just about everywhere on that team. That team was like the Rams, built for a year or 2, and now it could very well fall apart. I'm going to do a video on that too, why that getting all that talent, unless you have a guy like Tom Brady or Matt Stafford, might not work. And I'll explain that in another video. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their last couple of years, it could fall apart very quickly for them this year if they don't get what they need and do a good job in free agency to draft and figure out their quarterback situation. So that's for the NFC South, guys. Next video will be on the NFC North. Packers, Vikings, Lions, and the Bears. So remember, like, subscribe, comment, hit notification bells, like this video. Takes all you guys to help this channel. Catch you on the next one.